let me start out real quick. Have you ever been expecting something and then you got something totally different instead of what you were expecting, and it turned out to be so much better? It's kind of where we're going to find ourselves today in this Christmas story. And you know what? Yeah, it's September, and we're talking Christmas story. It's all good. I had some things that jumped out at me today as I carry the torch. Last week, Chuck talked about the shepherds, and I can't imagine seeing an angel in person. I would freak out, but I get it. So I get their fear, and just the wrestling match we had with fear. It was good stuff, good wisdom. If you didn't see it, make sure you go back and check that out. But I'm going to carry the torch today in verse 11 and 12 to where, okay, here's the story. Angel comes to the shepherds, right? They're out doing their business. Shepherds are like the lowliest of lowly people, by the way. They're like the lowest of low in the world. And so you got to think like they get the biggest message the world would ever know first, which is just crazy to think about. So anyway, this angel comes to the shepherds. They freak out. Angel's like, chill out, y'all. I got you. And so we're going to pick it up in verse 11, where the angel says, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You'll find a baby wrapped in swaddling cloths and laying in a manger. A Savior is born today. Now, for us, we know the story, right? We got the Bible. We've heard the Christmas story a million times. We're like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. For them, you got to understand this was everything, right? Like Rome's oppression, the way that the Jews were treated. They were awaiting a Savior. There's been hundreds and hundreds of prophecy verses they knew. Like they're awaiting this conquering king. They're awaiting this majestic ruler to come in and free God's people, to bring redemption, to bring salvation, to bring it all. This powerful riding in on a horse with an army and to take and kick Rome out. That's what they're expecting. And I love it. The angel totally flips the script and was like, and this is how you gonna know. It's a baby in swaddling cloths in a manger. What? Hold on. You said, for unto you this day a Savior is born called the Christ. And that's how I'm going to know is it's a baby in a swaddling cloth? Are you kidding me? Like I would have to clean my ears out. Like, angel, are you feeling okay? Like seriously. We got to put ourselves in these shepherds' position. Like the first verse in 11, like, great, the king is come, Christ is here, a conquering Savior, great, and oh, it's a baby. Oh, okay. And here's why that's important. God has a way of flipping the script, right? God has a way of flipping the script in what we see and what we experience. He always has a bigger picture and more than what we can see and realize. That's what God does. And can I tell you how many times I've missed that in my life? I've been waiting and expecting God to do one thing or to show up in one way, and he totally came out of left field with something totally different, and I was too blind to see, or I was too ignorant to realize, instead of me just letting God be God, and I'm not. And that's kind of what we see here with the shepherds. The angel, God flips the script and says right off the beginning, King is here. Christ the Lord is here. The Savior is here. Unto this day a king is born in the city of David. Oh, and it's a baby. And so it's this incredible juxtaposition of a great conquering king and a baby. The innocence, the picture of a purity, of an innocence, helpless, but yet would be the most powerful feet that ever stepped foot on ground. And I needed that reminder today in my life. I've got some things happening that I just frankly needed God to show up and do some things. And I don't know what's going on in your life. Maybe you got some things there. Where are you expecting a conquering king? And maybe God's sending a baby instead. And it's okay, because God's sovereign. God knows what's best. We don't. And it's a matter of submitting to that, submitting to his plan and saying, God, I trust you. You want to send a baby instead of a conquering king? Cool. You got a plan. You know what you're doing. So, hey, I hope that resonates with you. I know it stood out to me. Thanks for just joining us, being a part of these. We're heading into the final 3 races of the season coming up, kicking off this weekend. Certainly would love prayers to wrap this season up well. God has moved some really cool mountains so far this year, and we just want to see that continue. Love your prayers. Thanks for being a part of this with us. Have a wonderful week.